you never see outside of your mind. So consciousness is looking through these minds, and your mind is like a gel that they place over lights, like a blue gel, a red gel, a pink gel that they place over lights, like theatre lights. And you can never see outside of that. Like you can never see life without the filter of the human. So this experience is an experience of being human. But what can happen is there can be a reconnection, even though ultimately the connection was never broken. But it seems that there can be a reconnection with something that is beyond the polarities of the body-mind mechanism. So there can be a reconnection to, could call it the divine, but you could call it a reconnection to non-duality, not two-ness. Even though that was always there, and it is always there, even in the apparent dual experience. So the mind, the way the mind is made up, is it's made up by this machine called a body, apparently interacting with other objects. And then we have a thinking mind that then can label these objects and define them, and then put them in a construct of a sentence, which enables you to distinguish even more detail about those supposed objects. When you connect with non-duality, you go beyond that, and there is a seeing or a knowing, which is there in all beings, that there is inherently a subject that's experiencing an object. So there isn't a subject experiencing world. But you can't get out of the body-mind mechanism as such in this life. You can have experiences, but they're all in the construct of the machine in which is being looked through. What most people teach as enlightenment is getting to non-duality beyond the habits and conditions of the body-mind mechanism. And I don't believe that is what happens. I can't be sure, no one I think can be sure, but what I think happens is so there is the end of attachment to the body-mind mechanism and the end of attachment to the habits and the conditions, and this is when non-duality is seemingly realized, even though it was always realized, it was always there, it was always non-duality. So what happens is there is this person that's formed, and there is this belief that that is who you are. And then comes the attachment to everything that happens or doesn't happen in that person's life. So while there is the belief that you are this person moving through time, there is an attachment to time, to person, to everything that happens in that life. to things, objects, sensations. So there can be this dropping away of the attachment to this. So this is seen as not a real construct, that you, the illusory you, is not a real construct that's actually going through time. It's a manifestation that is appearing in every moment. It isn't a solid, separate entity. And this creates a collapse in the attachment. And then in the collapse of the attachment, there is no longer the seeking to manifest continuous pleasure and avoid pain. This is what the body naturally does. This doesn't have to end the movement towards pleasure and the avoidance of pain. It's really natural. If you're walking towards a fire and you don't perceive that if you get too close there is pain, then you'd walk into the fire and kill yourself. But when you are separate, so when you believe that you are something that you're not, a separate person moving through time, what happens is there is a disconnection from your true self, which is uncomfortable. This is what people call suffering. It's uncomfortable to not remember who you truly are. It's like living a lie. And then through that, there is a seeking to try to find that again. But rather than finding it in what you are, which is this present moment, which is what's happening, which is that which is experiencing, you could say nothing and everything, or this consciousness and this sense of being, I am. Rather than trying to find it in that, what the mind does, what the mind concludes, is that my contentment, my happiness and my freedom is found in time, in things. And so therefore, the person, the illusory person, imagines achieving things and getting things or things not happening, and then it seeks to get them or seeks to avoid them. And then over years and years, this gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It never ends. It's not like you're ever going to get to the end of the rainbow. It never ends in that world. You're never going to get it. But there is a belief in that person and a belief that that person can one day make it. And so that person then seeks, and then it grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And the person, ironically, becomes more uncomfortable the more it seeks. The longer the game goes on, the more uncomfortable it becomes, because it's a habit. So let's revert back to what the title is. Are you... I've forgotten the name of the title. It is, Are You Okay As You Are? And then this is the point where I think a lot of people that are listening get to, is where they've been on this spiritual search and they've relaxed a lot of the conditions and the habits of the person, which is wise because we all have neurosis. I have neurosis. It's wise to relax the neurosis. It comes with a thinking mind. We get neurotic about things. And then what happens is this becomes the new seeking. You're always looking to be better. And still, it's playing the same old game of trying to be a better person, an enlightened person. I mean, what could be more difficult than that, to be a perfect person? I mean, what people set enlightenment up as is so big, and it's simply an imagination. All of it, even the energetic shifts in which I talk about, are right here, right now, in imagination, a story in which we're conveying apparent past events. Whereas that's not true. There's nothing that's true. Right here, right now, there is only this moment. And if you believe in the enlightenment story, that one day you're going to make it, you're also going to believe that your partner should be better, that your children shouldn't behave the way this and that. And then there will be endless thinking about how your partner should be better, what an asshole they are, or your kids, or your neighbors, or your friends, or your co-workers. And there will be repetitive thinking about this.